In this video, I'm going to create some wavy edge block letters, and I'm going to put them together to create a word, but I'm going to play around with proportions a little so that it's going to look a little bit different than you may expect. But again, it's really fun to play around with these and experiment and get creative, and it's much better to do that in your sketchbook or on your own before doing it in front of a group of people or a client if you're doing this professionally. So I'm using the same technique as I have in all of the videos to create the basic block letters. As you can see, these are very tall and thin. So basically I started with a yellow marker, and that's a good way to get spacing down, especially if you're writing more than one letter together. And that yellow will kind of disappear from a distance. But you can see already the word is harder to read when the proportions are exaggerated as much as I did here. But I'm not done yet. I'm going to embellish them with some wavy edges so you can see what that looks like. So now I'm starting on I did the left side of the W and the top, and I'm going to be consistent throughout the word. Consistency helps to make letters, especially in words, more legible, especially from a distance. And again, as I've said in all these videos, if you're creating things to be read from a distance, bolder, darker, thicker lines are generally easier to read. And it is easier to read if you do have more space between the letters, not too much. The letters that I've drawn here are a little bit squished, and as you can see, my spacing was far from perfect on these letters. The W is far wider than the A and the V, and then the Y is a little bit wider, but that V is pretty thin. So if I was actually you wanted to create like a sign or something for this, I wasn't doing it in real time, I'd probably redraw that and be a little more careful with my spacing and make that the V thicker. So now what I'm doing is I'm going back on all of these letters and I'm making the bottom a little bit thicker. Also that crossbar on the A part, I made that thicker too. And what that does, it might sound like a weird word to use, but it grounds the letters. It just gives it a little bit more weight. It makes it give it a little more dimension. It's a little more solid. So after I got done doing that, the word was still kind of hard to read, or at least I thought so. And so what I'm doing now is I'm creating contrast by drawing some horizontal lines. As you can see, these are not, I'm not using a ruler. This is all freehand. There's no need for a ruler here. And what this does is this helps to create the illusion of having a little bit more space almost between the letters. And obviously I can't create more space, but I can create more contrast and use what little space that I had there to create that contrast and to make those letters stand out a little bit more. And so I'm doing this by just simply drawing some horizontal lines. So again, this is a quick way to do that. This is not necessarily the best way or the only way, but this is what I'm doing here. And if you're working quickly and you're creating things live, especially in front of a group, this is a very simple, very quick and easy way to help create a little more contrast between your letters and the space around them. So in this case, I was drawing on white paper, which is most common, or you may be working on a whiteboard. So this is just something idea to keep in the back of your mind. Now, to add even more contrast and make those letters stand out a little bit more, I'm adding some vertical lines inside the letters themselves. And I'm not sure. It depends. Probably for this, it depends on the distance that these letters will be viewed from. Another way to create more contrast would be to color those letters in solid, like a solid. Yellow would be okay. I would probably choose like maybe a red or an orange, make those letters stand out a little bit more, or to alternate colors of the letters. Just some other options. If you really had time, you could color in the background around that, but as you can see, just quickly making those horizontal lines adds quite a bit of contrast very quickly and very easily. So that's just an example of putting wavy edge block letters together, writing a whole word with them, and playing with the proportions a little bit, so you can see how that looks, see how you like it, maybe save you some time if you don't like it and don't want to use it, and also save you some time if that's something that you want to experiment with some more. So hopefully that helps, gives you some inspiration and some ideas so you can start creating some letters of your own.